Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT math problems out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 919. Please turn to it. Page 919, and today is our lesson number 135. Let's take a look at it. There are three problems on that page, 14, 15 and 16. The last three problems in the section, and therefore they are tricky. They're not that straightforward. Problem number 14 says, if n and p are integers greater than 1, and if p is a factor of both n plus 3 and n plus 10, what is the value of p? As you can see, it's not a straightforward question. It requires some thinking before we can actually understand it. We have to first understand what concept they're testing in this problem. The concept that they're testing in this problem is this. Let's first understand the concept that lies behind the problem, and then the problem will become very simple, very straightforward. Here's the concept. If an integer a is divisible by x, if we are given a quantity a and we are told that it is divisible by x, and if an integer b is divisible by x, then their difference must also be divisible by x. This is what we need to understand. If we are told that this particular quantity is divisible by x, and we are told that this other quantity is also divisible by x, then regardless of what these quantities are, if they are individually divisible by x, then their difference must also be divisible by x. Think about it for a second. For example, if we are told that 27 is divisible by 3, which of course it is, and we know that 18 is divisible by 3, if that's the case, then their difference, 27 minus, let's change that 18 to 15. Let's change that 18 to 15. You will see in a second why I did that, or even make it 12. You will see in a second why I did that. If 12 is divisible by 3 and 27 is divisible by 3, then their difference must also be divisible by 3. And the reason is very straightforward, because 27 can be written as 3 times 9, and 12 can be written as 3 times 4. We have a factor of 3 in both of them. We can take it common. We can take it out common, and here we are left with 9, and here we are left with 4. And we end up with 3 times 5. And of course 3 times 5 is divisible by 3. You see that? Now, if you're curious why I changed that 18 to 12, is because had I left it at 18, we would have ended up here with a 9 and a 6, and we would have ended up with 3 times 3. And I wanted you to be able to see that this 3 is what plays the role here. The factor that we're taking out common plays the role here. Which is why I didn't want the quantity in the parentheses to be also 3. Because I wanted to distinguish it. That's which is why I had to change it. Let's do one more example. For example, if we are told that 36 is divisible by 12, which it is, and if we are told that 60 is divisible by 12, so here our A is 36, 36 is divisible by 12, and 60, which is our B, is divisible by 12, then their difference, 36 minus 60, must also be divisible by 12, because 36 can be written as 3 times 12, and 60 can be written as 5 times 12. And again, they both have a factor of 12, which we can take out common. And here we are left with 3, and here we are left with 5. And we end up with 12 times negative 2, which of course can be divided by 12. 12 times negative 2 is divisible by 12. As you can see here, if 36 is divisible by 12 and 60 is divisible by 12, then their difference, which is negative 24, is also divisible by 12. Or if we have gone 60 minus 36, you would have gotten positive 12. But anyway, the point here is, no matter what order you put the numbers in, if they're individually divisible by quantity, then their difference must also be divisible by the same quantity. Let's do one last one before we actually do the problem. For example, if 49 is divisible by 7, which it is, and if we are told that 14 is divisible by 7, then their difference, 49 minus 14, which can be written as 7 times 7 minus 2 times 7. Again, they have a factor of 7 common, obviously, which we can take out common. And here we are left with 7, and here we are left with 2. And 7 times 5, of course, can be divided by 7. Their difference is also divisible by 7. That's what we need to understand here. Here, in this particular problem, that is exactly the same thing that they are testing here, but they phrase it in a little bit awkward way. Instead of telling us that this quantity is divisible by some other quantity, this is what they tell us. They tell us that P is a factor of n plus 3. Well, if some number is a factor of some other number, another way of saying the same thing is, if we are told that 2 is a factor of 10, is 2 a factor of 10? Of course it is. Another way of saying the same thing would have been to say that 10 is divisible by 2. If P is a factor of n plus 3, then n plus 3 is divisible by P. That's what that implies. Similarly, we are told that P is a factor of n plus 10. That implies that n plus 10 is divisible by P. Well, if n plus 3 is divisible by P and n plus 10 is divisible by P, then their difference, this implies that their difference must be divisible by P. Let's find out what their difference is, shall we? This is the first quantity, n plus 3 minus n plus 10. N plus 3 minus n plus 10 would give us n plus 3, open the parentheses with a negative in front, becomes negative n and a negative 10. Here we have a positive n, here we have a negative n drops out, n plays no role. And what we end up here is 3 minus a 10, which is negative 7. This is their difference. And that difference, the question now is, that difference we are told is, is divisible by P. The question is, what could be the value of P? Let's find out, shall we? What could be the value of P? Answer choice A says 3. Can it be 3? The answer is no. We cannot divide negative 7 into 3. It doesn't divide evenly. Can it be B? B says 7. B is the right answer. There you go. B is the right answer. B says 7. And that works because negative 7 can be divided by 7, leaving us with a value of negative 1. We cannot divide negative 7 into 10. Negative 7 cannot be divided by 10. That's our C. That doesn't work. Negative 7 cannot be divided by 13. That doesn't work. And it cannot be divided by 30. The answer is B. The question was, what's the value of P? If n and P are integers greater than 1, what is the value of P? And the value of P, the only one that works here is 7. Negative 7 would have also worked, but we are told that they are both positive numbers. So the answer is 7. Let's do number 15, shall we? Number 7. No, not number 7. Where does 7 come from? I don't know. Number 15. Number 15 is a tricky one. Tell you what, before we do number 15, let's play a little game, shall we? Let's play a little game. Something interesting. I'm going to give you the problem, and you see what happens. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. The question is, what is the value of x? And here are the answer choices: A, B, C, D, and E. B says, let's say 8 over 2, and D says 2 plus 2. Okay, I'm going to read the problem to you. Listen carefully. I'm going to read it to you. Pay attention. It's a very complicated problem, so listen carefully. Here we go. That's right, there is a problem. I'm reading it, what says there. It says, mumbo jumbo, mumbo jumbo, jumbo mumbo. And the question is, what's the value of x? What do you surmise from what is presented to you in front of you? What do you gather from that? Well, we don't know what the value of x is, but whatever the hell it is, it cannot be B or D. Why? Because B says 8 over 2, which is 4, and D says 2 over 2, or 2 plus 2, which is also 4. So if B is the right answer, then so is D. And since you can't have two right answers, therefore they are both wrong. Keep that in mind. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the picture that they give us. Keep that in mind. When two answer choices work out to be the same thing, that's your cue that they are both wrong. You can't have two right answers. Now, this picture that they're given to us is a simple cube. It looks like an ordinary cube, but try drawing it on your own the way they draw it, and you will see that it's not actually. So give me a second, I'll do what I can here. The reason why it's a little bit complicated to draw is because it's tilted. It's not sitting just straight, it's a little tilted. So we have to start out with a little tilt. And if it does not come out perfect, don't worry about it, okay? It's already not very nice looking. As I said, we'll do the best we can. Now, what I want you to do, I'm not going to actually plot everything on the blackboard because I know for a fact it won't come out very nice. What I want you to understand is, look at this point C and look at this point E. Here's our point X. The question is, if you read the question carefully, you must have the book in front of you, obviously. Read the problem properly. Look at the picture, not my picture in the blackboard as I show you, but the picture that is in front of you because that's the accurate picture. It says, which of the following angles has the least measure? Are you able to tell by looking at the picture that the angle X, C, Y, oh, I haven't shown you the Y part here, which is going to come down here somewhere. There's the Y part. As you can clearly see, my picture is not very drawn to very nicely because Y actually lines up with C. And if I were to draw that triangle that they show you here, it obviously is not going to work out at all. That's why you have to look at their picture. The way they drew it, Y is to the left of C. Mine actually it is to the left, but it's not enough to be able to see. So don't look at my picture, look at yours. But the point here is that the angle XYC, or better yet, angle XCY and angle XXEY, they are the same angle. So if you look at it carefully, visualize it, concentrate on it, and you will see that they look different angles because of this. Here's what it deals with. The reason I put the word on the blackboard is because I'm about to pronounce it and I'm going to butcher it. I have trouble pronouncing it. Spatial, I believe, is how it's pronounced, and if I mispronounce it, now we know what the word is. And it's an ability that some people have and some people don't. I suck at it. I suck at it big time. I can't draw a three-dimensional picture very nicely, and I have trouble visualizing three-dimensional things in my mind if I have to solve a problem. Some people are very good at it. So if you look at it, you will be able to see, you should be able to see, or hopefully you'll be able to see that the angle that is made by point X, C and Y, and the angle that is made by point X, E and Y are the exact same angles. Therefore they are both wrong. They are both wrong. So we don't need to worry about them. We're not going to worry about them. We're not going to look at them. We're just going to concentrate on the other 3 points. So let's do it. The next one is B. B and A and D. No, Which one of these points do you suppose is farthest away from X? Ask yourself, okay, again, picture a cube in your mind and ask yourself which of these points is going to be farthest away from X? Point B, point A, or point D? You should be able to see that point D is the one that is farthest away from X. Having understood this thing, now look at this part here. Having understood this thing, look at this part here. Here's my point, let's call it point P, and let's see. Here's point A, point B, point C. Which one of them makes the smallest angle? The angle PAQ, or PBQ, or PCQ? Which one of them makes the smallest angle? You should be able to see that this is the smallest angle because point C is the farthest away from point P. The one that is farthest away. For example, if I drew a line here, this point right here, this angle versus this angle, this is a very small angle. The reason why it's very small is because A is very far from X compared to B. The one that is farthest away is going to make the smallest angle. And here, the one that is farthest away is point D. The one that is farthest away is point D. Therefore, the correct answer is X, D, Y. That's all. That's all. Let's do the next one, shall we? Number 16. Number 16. Number 16 says X times Y. Number 16 says X times Y is 7. We are told that X minus Y is 5. And question is, what is the value of X squared minus Y? X squared times Y minus X times Y squared. The reason I'm squeezing it here is because it's actually a very straightforward problem. What we have to understand is that here we have see an X. In the first term we see an X. In the second term we see X. In the first term we see Y. In the second term we see Y. So we can take out this common. We can take out the value of X times Y common. Once we take out X times Y common, what are we left with from here? X squared times Y divided by X times Y will leave us with X. That comes in here because X times Y times X will give us X squared minus Y. X squared, X times Y times, when you multiply it by X, will give us X squared times Y. Similarly here, we'll get negative Y. Because X times Y times negative Y will give us X times Y squared. That's it, we are done. That's it, we are done. So this quantity that they're looking for, X squared Y minus X times Y squared, is simply X times Y times X minus Y. But they tell us what X times Y is. X times Y, they tell us, is 7. And X minus Y, they tell us, is 5. That's it. So the answer is 35. The answer is 35. And that's the answer choice D. That was the end of exam number 9. That was the end of exam number 9. For those of you who have been watching these videos on a regular basis, you would know that it takes me 15 videos to make to finish one exam, because each exam has 3 math sections and we cover each section in 5 videos. So therefore it takes 15 videos to make one exam. Today being the end of day number 135. 135 divided by 15 is exactly 9. Today is the end of the exam number 9. Tomorrow will begin our very last exam in the book, and on day 150 we'll finish that exam. Alright? I'll see you tomorrow, okay? At exam number 10, the very last exam. Bye now.